There is a strange kind of wealth that never appears in a photograph. You can't see it sitting in a garage. It doesn't sparkle on a wrist. It doesn't arrive with the private jet or a mansion behind enormous gates. In fact, you might never notice it at all. It's the things wealthy people don't have to think about. Imagine walking into a hotel, staying for 3 nights, and never once wondering what the bill will be. Imagine your car making a strange noise and feeling nothing but mild curiosity instead of panic. Imagine receiving a message from your child's school saying there is an unexpected expense due tomorrow, and your first reaction isn't, "Where am I going to get that money?" That is a completely different relationship with everyday life. And the strangest part is that most of these luxuries don't look luxurious. They look ordinary. Take something as simple as a bad day. Your internet stops working. Your refrigerator breaks. Your car won't start. The plumber says the repair will cost more than expected. For most people, a small problem can quickly become a chain reaction. You start calculating, what can wait? What can I postpone? What bill can I move? What can I repair myself? But imagine having enough money that the only thing you think about is how quickly you want the problem gone. You don't spend your evening watching tutorials on how to repair the washing machine. You don't become an amateur electrician because hiring someone is too expensive. You call someone, they arrive, they fix it. Your life continues. That might sound boring, but that's exactly why it's valuable. Wealth can turn emergencies into inconveniences. And once you've experienced that, you start noticing how much mental energy ordinary problems consume. Then there's shopping, not luxury shopping, normal shopping. Imagine walking into a supermarket hungry and choosing what you actually want. Not the cheapest meat, not the brand on sale, not the smaller package, because it stretches further. You see something you've never tried before and put it in the basket simply because you're curious. You don't have to calculate what that extra purchase means for the rest of the week. And that freedom follows you everywhere. Your laptop becomes slow, replace it. Your mattress is uncomfortable, buy another one. Your shoes are worn out, get new ones. The point isn't that rich people are constantly buying things. The point is that small purchases don't require emotional negotiations. For someone wealthy, spending $200 unexpectedly can be annoying. For someone struggling financially, $200 unexpectedly can change the entire month. That difference is enormous. But money also changes something much more valuable than shopping. It changes your relationship with mistakes. Imagine booking a beautiful hotel. For a week, you arrive. The room is disappointing. The view isn't what you expected. The service is terrible. What do? Most people think, we've already paid. Let's just make the best of it. A wealthy person might simply check out. They don't have to turn a bad decision into a week-long punishment just because they already spent the money. And this applies to much bigger decisions. You choose the wrong house. Move. The business isn't working. Close it. The car's constantly breaking down. Sell it. The vacation isn't enjoyable. Leave. Money gives you something incredibly powerful, the ability to change your mind. Most people are forced to live with bad decisions because correcting them costs too much. Wealth makes the exit door easier to reach. And then there is, perhaps, the most invisible luxury of all: distance. A wealthy person can create distance between themselves and problems. They don't have to be the person calling the electrician. They don't have to remember the housekeeper's schedule. They don't have to research every insurance policy. They don't have to spend Saturday morning standing in line at a government office. Someone can handle it, and this is where having money starts to look less like luxury and more like architecture. Your entire life can be designed around reducing friction. Your home is close to the places you visit. Your staff manage repetitive tasks. Your assistant organizes appointments. Your driver handles transportation. Your chef handles meals. Your accountant handles paperwork. Your lawyer handles complicated legal matters. You wake up and the day has already been quietly organized around you. You don't necessarily feel richer, you simply feel less interrupted. And then consider something most people don't associate with wealth at all: saying no to inconvenience. A restaurant has a 2-hour wait. You go somewhere else. A flight schedule is terrible. You choose another one. A hotel is sold out. You book another property. A meeting requires 6 hours of travel for 30 minutes of conversation. You might simply refuse to go. The world becomes more flexible. You are no longer constantly adapting yourself to whatever option is cheapest. You can adapt the environment to yourself, and that can completely change the way a person experiences cities. Imagine arriving in a new country without thinking about where you're going to stay. You already have somewhere. Your luggage is handled. Your transportation is arranged. The restaurant reservation is made. Someone knows where you're going. You step out of the airport and the entire experience simply unfolds. No confusion, no bargaining, no searching, no stress. And then there are the things money protects you from that are much harder to see. Embarrassment. Imagine being invited somewhere expensive. Everyone orders whatever they want. Nobody looks at the prices. Nobody is calculating. Nobody is quietly choosing the cheapest thing on the menu. You order what you actually want. Not because you're trying to impress anyone, because the number doesn't matter. That's a strange kind of confidence. You don't have to perform wealth. You simply don't have to think about it. And the same thing happens with appearance. A wealthy person can replace an entire wardrobe without waiting for the old clothes to become unusable. They can have clothes tailored, shoes repaired, jewelry maintained, hair appointments scheduled around their life. Again, the luxury isn't necessarily the designer label. It's the effortlessness. Everything is handled before it becomes a problem. But perhaps the most surprising thing wealthy people don't have to think about is something many people spend their entire lives worrying about. What happens if they stop working? Imagine opening your laptop tomorrow and deciding you're done. Not quitting for 2 weeks, not taking unpaid leave, actually stopping. No paycheck next month, no panic, no immediate consequences. You could spend 6 months traveling, a year learning photography, 2 years building a garden, or simply stay home. The freedom isn't that you never work. It's knowing that your survival doesn't depend on working today. And that changes the meaning of Monday morning. For most people, Monday arrives whether they want it or not. For someone with enough wealth, Monday is optional. But there is an unexpected price to that freedom. When every practical problem can be solved with money, you eventually discover that some problems aren't practical. You can buy the best bed in the world. You still have to sleep. You can buy the most beautiful house. You still have to live in it. You can hire a chef. You still have to decide who you want to eat with. You can buy a private jet. You still have to decide where you're going. And this is where wealth becomes strangely philosophical. Because after money has removed enough obstacles, you're left alone with your choices. There is no price tag telling you what to do next. No financial emergency forcing you forward. No boss creating the next goal. You have to create the reason yourself. Maybe that's why some wealthy people become obsessed with businesses, art, sports, philanthropy, collecting, exploration, or building something that lasts. They need a challenge. They need a story. They need something bigger than consumption, because once you can buy almost anything, buying things becomes a terrible way to measure progress. And perhaps that is the greatest thing rich people never have to think about. Not the price of dinner, not the cost of fuel, not whether they can replace a broken phone. They don't have to spend every day wondering whether one unexpected problem could destroy everything they've built. They can think further ahead. They can take bigger risks. They can change direction, they can make mistakes, they can wait, and they can give, because money doesn't just buy objects. At its highest level, it buys room. Room to breathe, room to make mistakes, room to change your mind, room to take care of someone else, room to discover who you are when survival is no longer demanding all your attention. And maybe that's why the most powerful sign of wealth isn't what someone buys when they walk into a store. It's what they don't do. They don't check the price. They don't panic when something breaks. They don't stay somewhere they hate because they already paid. They don't accept every opportunity because they desperately need it. They don't have to turn every decision into a financial calculation. They simply decide. And that might be the quietest luxury money can create, not having more things than everyone else, but reaching a point where ordinary problems become so small they don't get to occupy your mind anymore.